congratulate you on this event, because clearly it's to help women move into a position of mastery. And the fact that you're a woman is just the reality, but you are a person. And the sooner the world understands that we are people and we are the majority and that we have most of the skills, and that the Lord was very wise when he didn't make man have baby, because the whole of the human race would have dead off long time, because they would have the baby and catch it up somewhere and run on. But women have the sort of skills and inherent capabilities that hold things together, continue and try and integrate. And we are the best people to move the world forward, except that some of us try to turn man. But that is a different speech, that's not what you call. Yeah, we try to outdo the men and wickeder than everybody else when it is all said and done. And what I'm concerned about, I'm really concerned about women losing what it is that makes them women, the special quality. Because if what the agenda is to get a set of women that are as good as any man and equipped same way like a man and can shoot people and kill them like man and drop bomb like man and chop badness like man, so what is the point? Where's the world going? So let us always remember that we have to hold to that thing that differentiates us from the male of the species. Jennifer, it's so nice to see you. You know how I love you very much. And we are not gay, okay? No, definitely not. Okay? We have to be careful when we say nowadays, you know, everything. And then you have to follow it up by saying, not that there is anything wrong with being gay, you see, or else you get a trump on you. Okay? Alright. Master in the so not wrong with nothing by the time everybody finish it up, right? I'm telling you. Everything is everything. Jamaican language has something for everything. Everything is everything, as we say. And I've really been thinking about this idea of a personal brand, because what it is that we are trying to do, we're not trying to be part of a group, we're not trying to be part of a mass of people, we're not trying primarily to be part of a movement. Shouldn't we be trying and striving to be ourselves, to become the best of ourselves, to reveal ourselves, to open up ourselves to our own capability? And that is what you call your personal brand. And part of building a personal brand is to master the art of public speaking. Now let me tell you something. When I was at school and all of that, I couldn't talk, I couldn't read the Bible. At assembly, you would have to catch me in the bush. You talk about blossom to go up on platform, to my knees would go penker like I could not do it. I couldn't speak. And then I became a missionary at 20, got married. You have to do those things when you're innocent, because when you get okay. And gave up my scholarship to Toronto University and became a missionary to the Turks and Caicos Islands. I went on a little boat called the Carib Queen, me and my new husband. That time I don't know nothing about marriage and husband, and still think that I'm married off. And carried my cat on a leash. When I land, the people think I'm working out. They say, what kind of person wife this and walk over here with puss? You know? But in a sense, it's a wonderful thing. It creates all the adventure in your life. I don't have nothing against you. But here am I, land as a pastor wife, and I can't speak. And then I read a story how the wife of the founder of the Salvation Army couldn't speak either. And she became this world-class public speaker. So just remember that I was too nervous to say anything in front of anybody. I don't know if it's a good thing that I overcame it. That is up to you to decide. Wow, which one I do? Push this? Yeah. Okay. Now, public speaking is an excellent professional skill. It's a professional skill. It helps you to grow as a leader. It positions you to influence others. It helps to promote your values. It helps to strengthen a cause. And it helps you to grow your knowledge base. And it increases your self-confidence. You see, you can't dodge it forever. Because no matter how you dodge and hide, somebody will come and say, Claudia, you can do the voter tongues. Voter tax is the wickedest thing to give anybody to do, because the whole thing have to done before you start. So that means that you don't hear nothing for the whole thing, because you have this voter tax in your hand. And really mashes up the evening, okay? And yes, and then they're going to say to you, we don't have no chairman for the function. Would you please go and chair the function? And you're in Kiwanis, or you're in Optimist Club, or you're in something, and you can't hide. You're under the table, but you can run, but you can't hide. Because once you put your foot out there, you're going to have to go say something somewhere. And you cannot just dissolve and disappear every time you are. Also, you know what public speaking does? It helps you to clarify who you are, clarify your values. Not that Trump has clarified his. Sorry. But every time he says something sad, I never hear, or is not that. But the lady seems to love Muslims since when? Yeah, so yeah, the point about it is that if you don't clarify your values, you're going to make an ass of yourself. And some people can afford to make an ass of themselves, and people love them, but not everybody is so lurky. You might never get caught, and it's all right, darling, I can manage it. And also, it helps people to define you, helps to strengthen your cause and your knowledge base, because some people like to speak and they don't know, they don't have a wide knowledge, and you get yourself into trouble because you talk foolishness, you just skim the top of the topic because you really do not know, so you have to keep on reading. And I don't mean reading Daniel Steele or whatever it is people read nowadays. You have to check on the articles in the newspaper, and if you read it, you read the front, the back, and the middle, because some of them too long. But one other people sit down and write so much is what? Like, I am a writer and I can write so much. After I reach the 500, 800 words, I don't have what I have to say finished. The rest is just fluff. Yeah, but you keep reading and you have to learn how to read. Now, I have a question. Is anybody else hot, or is just me? No. I hope, because I was wondering if I was getting back in the hot flush and extra.
Maybe polite.
Okay, all right, good. How you prepare yourself? Be clear about your mission in life. Find out what you value and build your life around that. Now, I discovered that of the noble age of 70, so you all have the chance. That don't mean I'm 70 now, it's a long time ago, right? Find out what you value and where your power lies, and build your life about that. This is after I've wandered all over the universe in my life, from missionary to logistician to postmaster general to whatever advice, chancellor to workforce specialist, you name it, I have done it. To run bank, micro enterprise, everything. And then eventually you find out what your mission in life is. It is such a relief for me to have found it out before I shall have passed on, because that was nearly going to happen, So you have to be clear about your mission. Who are you? Are you a business person, a hard-nosed business person? Are you a service provider? I have found out that I'm a knowledge worker. I tried to sell paint and nearly go to prison because I owe everybody and the paint shop flop, and I can't sell nothing. Forget it. I can run a business. If it's your business, they give it to run, fine. But if it is mine, forget it. But then I realized I'm running a consultancy business that is quite successful, because I am a knowledge worker. I help people. I'm a service provider. Yeah, I'm so happy, Lord, that I found out who I am before you have closed the book on me. Read on a variety of topics. Don't just know one thing, and don't just know your point of view. Know other people's point of view as well. And position yourself for lesser events. You have to start at the bottom, And you may never get invited to the big events, but start at the bottom. Go to your Sunday school thing, you do panel discussion. Some people say, well, they're inviting me to do that. And who will the keynote speaker, and we can talk better. But that's not what it's about. It's about how people see you. It's not about how you see yourself. And you could run around the world trying to push how you see yourself. People are going to be dealing with how they see you, and they respond to how they see you. So you have to learn the lesson why you're always a bridesmaid and never a bride. And by the way, sometimes because the Lord knows that you really don't need to be no bride. Okay? Formal training is useful. I'm talking about the people who go to Toastmasters. I've seen, people who go to Toastmasters. Anybody else have heard about Toastmasters? Yes. It's a wonderful organization. And when people have the Toastmaster training, you know that you're going to get the goods delivered because they're going to be prepared and they're going to be well attached. And they're going to approach the podium and they're going to put down their paper and they're going to acknowledge this and have an introduction to their speech and they're going to have their points and the speech will be read with and they're going to put their hands like this, you know? Because a big thing is what you do with your hand when you're speaking, you know? And you can't play it like a seal or you don't want to point it at people, so you do this. And that's a Toastmaster thing. That's fine. It can take you through life. You won't get arrested or anything. As a matter of fact, on Sunday at Evensong, because I go to Evensong now, I can't take the stress of all the dress up and car parking and sitting to find seat on the bench on the 8 o'clock service and who am on hat and who am on. And I'm trying to worship and I can't find no space in the whole thing to worship. So I go to Evensong with like 10 other people, or 2 or 5 or 3. And we have a wonderful time with the Lord and go home. Who last 1 hour? I am just, don't follow me, okay? So where was I though? I was at formal training, okay? And I see the priest doing a Toastmaster thing, the new curate. I said, why this not going to work for pulpit, Okay? So, after you've done the Toastmaster training, that is all training of that sort, and you have got your skills and you know yourself, you get comfortable, then you can be yourself. Choose your own style. That is important. Be natural. And guess what? You'll be nervous. Nervousness now leave you alone. Yeah. And if you're not nervous, then you're getting overconfident. And if you're getting overconfident, you're headed for a crash. No matter where you're speaking, you're supposed to feel a little tension. Because you know, man, let's speak around now, got it done. Because you're going to go up there and probably going like, oh, I'm going on now, which is not exactly what people like you to do. And the thing about the nervousness, what I do, I pray. I say not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord. Because I'm a spiritual person, and I know it's not me, it's Holy Spirit will work through me. Okay, some people not at that level of faith. So you do the usual. Make sure your blood sugar is okay. The blood sugar not going to drop. Make sure you don't have gas. Because there's nothing worse than you go on bench and you're speaking and your head starts spinning on the platform and you panic. So do not have on nothing too tight down your waist. But it's something that people wear. What I'm doing, these things that people wear in their pants that push up everything and push up and it has nowhere to go and it spills over when it reaches the top. So if you look under the arm, you see a whole nada, so there's something over here and then coming from all the way down here. But the point about it is that it presses up your diaphragm against your what's not your liver can't find no space. If you ever tune in and hear what is going on, your kidneys say, oh no, move, no man, move down, you know, and your pancreas gasping for air after being squashed between your stomach and your liver. So make yourself comfortable. I pull my pants straight, see here, and just hope the pants don't drop off. The skirt will drop off one day.
I can't.
All right, so make sure that you are physically comfortable. Give yourself a chance. Suck a mint before. I always have my mint because I have to have my blood sugar settled, right? Make sure you have water. You notice all the things I carried on with because I needed the podium and I'm going to need the mic and I'm going to have access to this and I'm going to have to be able to see the screen, which I'm not looking at, but I'm looking at the computer, and I have to be there for you, okay? So, self-talk is, I am able, I'm capable, you know? I I can do this, I can do it. I think I can, I know I can. That sort of thing. So nervousness is always going to be with you, but you just have to recall all the time that you did well. But there are some situations that make you more nervous than others, you know, some highly formal situations. Those things, make sure you have your text, that you've read your text, and that you know how much time you have and so on. Okay? All right. Prepare your speech. If you're not prepared, you're going to be more nervous, you're going to have anxiety. Some people even have anxiety attacks. And if you have been speaking and you've had an anxiety attack and flop out, go back and do it again, start again. It doesn't mean that you'll never be a public speaker. It just meant that on that one event, your whole body, your body probably wasn't balanced between your blood sugar and your blood pressure and, those things, and it just overcame you. You're tired, all of that is part of it, okay? Write out your speech even if you don't read it word for word. Now, there are some people who are great speakers and they read word for word, and when you hear that they're the speaker, you just go there and know, so them going to read it, right? And you sit down here, so listen. And then when they make a point, you clap. And I've seen audiences do that. I want you to catch it with the glasses, you know? So I have seen audiences, and people do good speeches, and they stick to their script. Professor Elsa Leorani is somebody I admire greatly, but she always sticks to her script. She said, Blossom, I'm not an ad-libber. No, I couldn't write script from whatever. I'm going to go off script like the Pope. Me and him have a lot in common. I see him hopping the other day on his left knee, and so do I. And I see him going up the step with his right knee, and so do I. So the Pope and me, we are on the same page, the same papal page. Right, so the thing about it is that it is safer to stick with your script though, because it's not, puss and dog don't have the same look. With the going off script, it is a skill. I have that skill because I'm an entertainer. What I'm doing, I'm entertaining you. It's just, people wanted me to say, why you don't become a comedian? But I can't just do comedian for comedian's sake, I have to put the comedian in the things that I'm doing, the useful things that I'm doing. So they say, oh, you're not on Powerful Woman again. I say, something, I peak. I've done my best Powerful Woman, and I don't have to stay up there. You think Bolt is going to run 11, I say, still I run? No. You must know when to stop, okay? Make a speech at the appropriate length, which is not happening now either. You're talking about 20 to 25 minutes. Some people will tell you 15 minutes. You know that if you're 15 minutes, you stick to your script, and that you script it. So you organize your script with your 3 or 4 points. I tell you, people meet me all over the country to pop in, even in Farron, because I used to speak a lot in Farron. And I said, I remember when you spoke at this and you said that. I said, boy, I never remember not anybody say when I'm speaking. Therefore, other people remember. So clearly I have not been listening to me. That's what I just told myself. But they remember one point. And you have to make that point clearly. And the one point they remember is usually about themselves. It is something that resonates with them and relates to them. So you always have to create that hook, to where people are and what you are saying. So, and don't overwhelm your argument with it. And Winston Churchill did said and she, and Mandela said, and everybody said on the whole speech. I'm so glad. I was wondering if you're around to sleep.
No, man, I'm very present.
Yes, your eyes were closed.
I did that sometimes.
Okay. Yes,
I wasn't sleeping.
No, I'm sorry for it.
No, man,
everything is there. Good. Yes, so the quotations them now, please, and hold off on them. And then some people say, boy, I have to tell a story. So you start off with your story, and the story is not culturally congruent. A story is what? Yes, right? Then worse, some people say, this reminds me of a joke. No, you are on thin ice now when you're going to tell people that is a joke, because a joke is a very subjective thing. Some people find it funny and some people don't find it funny, and really don't tell a joke in a speech. It's not a joke telling. although jokes happen. If you know, you have to be able to integrate it. You can tell a funny story, and short and crisp, and it can relate. So you have to be careful how you use humor, because especially men get some off-color humor in the middle of the day, and you sit down there with all them senior citizens looking at you that go to church every Sunday and you tell them this joke. You know what I mean? And then they can't laugh or don't funny. You cannot encourage that sort of thing in public. So yeah, you have to select your humor quite carefully. And don't expose yourself to people saying, I wish they're born with, you know? Okay, so we're moving right along. Delivering your speech now, as I did the comfortably attired one, don't create a distraction. One time I spoke at Temple of Light and I had on a hat, you see? I mean, the hat was like from Deso to Deso, and nothing could have gone in the church because of this hat. I could have, what happened? Why did I wear this hat to go and preach? I have no idea. It was when broad hat came in. And worse, they had something on the lawn afterwards, a nice lawn they had and nobody else could have seen on it. You know what I mean? You know, some stupid things. I nearly mashed up the whole service in my hat. So, and this morning I just put some big silver earrings I have as pendants and I put it on. And then I had 2 big silver earrings and this, and I said, Blossom, you're not going anywhere like that. He's going to take off the hair. Because you don't want to create a distraction. Everybody sit on the whole time and said, isn't that Shabbat? That go around and come back around and what it never match that. You know, don't make yourself be a distraction. Make sure the podium is comfortable with good lighting. I remember once I was speaking at Alcan Awards and they put a beer box on me to stand up on. Me don't know what kind of podium could be so high that we need to stand up on box. I just can't figure it. My shoes heel go down in the beer box. And I spent the whole speech with my shoes heel going down in the beer box. I was trapped. Yeah. You know what I mean? All sorts of things happen to you, the logistics of it. And then sometimes you're on the podium and it is about to mash down, you know, because it's creaking and creaking. So you have to make sure that you don't get all those sort of things to cope with while you're trying to speak to people, because after that, you know, I can't move. And then there's about 2 people have to come extricate me from the beer box. Then sometimes they give you the podium, you can't say nothing, you know what I mean? Because I don't know what people think, you know. People who speak, you go up there, what are you, a puss? You're going to sing the dog? What? You know? So you have to make sure you're clear of all of that before. Some people don't give you a podium at all. Okay, so you're into this world now. Alright?
And you're on the paper.
You're on the paper and no podium and nothing to hold on to and the mic. That is just so awful unless it's a performance. I mean, are we on America's Got Talent, Jamaica's Got Talent? That's not good to do to people who are speaking. I let them find podium enough. The other thing is that you have to know who you're talking to. And that brings me to the point of how your public speaking affects your brand. Now, when I separated from my husband and came out into the world, now you know you're not supposed to divorce fast, but that is another story. So I came out into the world at the noble age of 42, 43. I really never started my life till I was about 47, 48. That time I'm hot, you see, man. I mean, I'm no, you know, like I'm Jennifer, don't you? Like a powerhouse, man. Say what I mean what I say. And made a reputation of say what I mean what you say. And the media picked up on it, and Cliff picked up on it. We used to have a program on TV called In My Opinion. I don't forget. Anybody remember that program? Remember, you're too young. And it was a 5-minute program, and when I lash out, you see, man, and I just deal, everybody else just deal. But little did I know that people were running away, because people don't want no woman who mouth too big. And then the matter came up now that I said, how come I never get to go on a board where I can get money every 3 months? All the board that I get on, you get $6,000 for the year. And then somebody said, well, when put you on the board, I think you're going to come there to take it over. And I remember one day I saw Oliver Clark. Anybody has a tissue? I don't know what this is about. Tissue, please. Oliver Clark. Otherwise, I have to go in my handbag and search for tissue, and that would not work. Oliver Clark introduced me to some people. You see this lady here? Oh, she's a troublemaker, you know. And they say I'm a troublemaker, right? And even at UTech, one of the notable persons at UTech said, everywhere she goes, she calls confusion. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that is something that you learn in life. So I have toned down, and I put up with a lot of stuff that I wouldn't put up with.
They say you're blossomed.
Yes, so. But for some people it is too late. I mean, they have this perception of this strong own account person. But guess what? The interesting thing is that even though I'm not on Grace board and I'm not on Gleaner board and PNBS, nothing to give me money, PNS, said, God,
Yeah.
that is most not nice.
Touch the computer. Touch the computer.
Hmm?
No,
It's up there. It's just not there.
that's the right computer.
Oh, it's gone to see. Yeah, but even though
It happened yesterday as well.
even though I don't have that, I still have a very powerful brand, and I have an own account brand. That's a brand that is built on me and what I stand for. It's not a brand that comes with a position or comes with any group or comes with an endorsement or any man or anything. And sometimes I say to myself, how did I manage to do that? You know, how did I manage to do that? Because my birthday was on the 6th of September, and Facebook was just all over, you know what I mean? And somebody called me, a notable man in this country, said, Blossom, I see all this activity on Facebook, your brand, man, the brand's strong. And I say, you know what? Because that is because of being who you are. The other point I have here is that when you're speaking, because we're talking about delivering your speech, pick somebody in the audience that has a friendly face, because somebody will listen to you somewhere, you know, and talk to those people. If you know people, you can even call them by name if you get really comfortable. But, and that puts you at ease, and it puts the audience at ease, because you have to make sure your audience is engaged. Public speaking can make or break you. It shapes people's perception of who you are. Are you dragon lady? Every time you go, you're going to cry. Well, you know, our PM, she decides who she is, and she knows what she wants to say. You could have criticized her till whatever. And it works for her, but it might not work for you. But she's not going to be, when she's making her formal speech, she'll stick with her script. But when she's in her terrain, she's going to be who she is. and whatever is your problem, then it's going to be your problem. So they say I am dragon lady, okay. But I don't just say, okay, I reflect and I say why, you know, and I don't feel that way within myself. Maybe I can tone up something, and maybe I can get it more charming, and maybe I can do the charm offensive. And nowadays I'm so great on the charm offensive, it's a shame, you know what I mean? Are you little Miss Goody Two Shoes? You're going up there now, trouble nobody, and everything you're going to say is going to be politically correct. And we will all politely sit down there and listen to you and clap and finish and say, thank God that's over. Moving right along. You're going to be Miss Know-It-All, that you come here to tell people all the things that they don't know. And some people, I mean, there's a place for you to disseminate knowledge, but honestly, it's not to make your audience feel at a disadvantage and you are the only one who has been blessed with all this knowledge. And then you have Johnny One Note. Who was it that was Johnny One Note? It was Lee Chin. Remember when Lee Chin came with his big presentation, Michael? Michael had a presentation about the fat cat and this. Anybody heard it? And then it was such an impressive presentation when he came back to Jamaica first. that people invited back, and he gave the same thing about the fat cat and the and invited to the third place, and he gave the same presentation. And it was the one presentation that he had the people were writing in the Gleaner about it, and everybody started writing. Now, there are some people who have canned presentations, you know? And they say, okay, I'll use this one done. Well, he had one. But we have to be careful. If we are public speakers, you don't take up the same speech with the same joke, with the same old tide, everything, and everywhere you go, you say the same thing. Because there may be people in the audience that just heard it before, and you might not be that entertaining. So you don't go up on the platform and rant and rave unless, you know, you are definitely political, where you better learn to rant and rave. I mean, it's definitely what you have to do. You can't go up there, no mealy-mouthed foolishness if you're running for office. But there are extremes. So portray the image that you want to build. You want to build strength and be on the offensive, nothing wrong with that. That is how you are, and you can take the heat, then you can stay in the kitchen. I remember Beverly Manley was speaking at the Madame Rosedale lecture.
Okay, yes.
And she's giving her a good speech, and somebody in the back started talking about question about Michael Mann. I don't know if the man in him head, you know, look how weird. It just see her as a political figure, and then they want to drag out this whole thing that don't have anything to do with what she said at Madame Rosedale lecture. And how do you deal with that? You have to listen. And you know, you say something in aid. In aid, things are wonderful. Oh, thank you for your contribution. Well, that is something that we will have to look at. But if you start up, well, you are entitled to your opinion, and then goes up right up there. But what we hope happens in that instance is that the chairman takes control of the situation. You know, but if you are left to defend yourself, you let the person rant. I wouldn't engage a person as public speaker from the platform. And you can say something like I hear your concern, but this is not the time or the place. Could we talk about it afterward? But some of your people, you might have to come off of the platform. No, so that is not a good experience that you just had. Right? Because Jamaica people can be wicked. And as a matter of fact, you know, sometimes you don't go. Take away yourself. There's a time to take away yourself. If you feel that you're too vulnerable, take away yourself. Not that audience, not that place. You listen to what is going on the ground, and not that audience, not that place. I have had it. I've had it. Yes?
Have you ever had a situation where you wanted to speech or presentation, and by virtue of how the program is running, someone comes and whispers in your ear and says, well, we thought we could give you 15 minutes, but it's going to have to be about maybe 9. How do you make that kind of shift?
Look, it is 9. I remember I spoke at American Home or something insurance. It's 11:45, I come on, you know, man. After the cabaret, at which time I didn't drink too much wine. My room just as drunk as everybody else. It happens. And that is why it's good to organize your speech. And, you know, you say, well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been here, we've all been here for some time, so I'm going to be short and to the point. And you just pick out your 3 points. You know, you thank everybody, what a wonderful program. And you just get into your 3 or your 4 points, but not more than 4. And leave out the story and leave out the sad people. That is what you have to do. You have to, those eventualities are there. Yeah? Sometimes you're tired and you're hungry and you still don't reach you, yet you get up, go back and come back and that's, you know. Something, that's why I stopped doing graduation, you know, because I don't have that time to spend much time left to study as a graduation. Honestly, whole day.
I'm sorry I keep asking you. In this back to the audience, you go to speak, you have a particular audience in mind.
And you go to see somebody else.
When you go, you see somebody else. I mean, a totally different
you
setting
have
or
to
environment.
remember a speech that you had written for somebody else. And when the talk and things went some notes. Because there is nothing worse than you deliver a speech that does not suit the audience. You have to fly blind at that point in time. Or there may be one person in the audience that it can be just one person in the audience that you didn't expect. Yeah, you have to fly blind. So you have to have in the back of your head some points, that you can flesh out. But don't mismatch the speech. There are some people, especially the training ones, who say, I come to speak and no matter what I'm going to deliver the speech, so you stay there. And then put in, okay? And then not stop until they finish. And it's too long, and it's not the audience, and it is out of context, but they come to deliver their speech. They have no flexibility. If you see them go on to sleep and twist when I preach at church and I see them start to twist, I tell them a story and say, may the Lord bless you real good and come down. Can't blame them. You know what I mean?
Question. If you're representing your company, you indicate that you need to project your brand, but in the case of how you do the merger?
Oh no, if I'm here on behalf of who will I be on behalf of? No, but if I'm here as Postmaster General, then I can't go on like me. Sure, that wouldn't work at all. I have to remember that I'm speaking as Postmaster General, so you can give a little joke and stuff, but you can't prance and go on like, I would have gone when I'm doing my document. It is not Postmaster General like, okay? So you have to
separate it.
Yes, you have to separate it and look at what brand the company is trying to project. And you have to be more professional in that.